Hi, I'm Curtis Taylor from TIS3 Solutions, and we're here live at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C., celebrating AUSA 2023. We're here at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center at the AUSA 2023. The Association of the United States Army is the preeminent organization here to support not only the Army, but the families and the overall military apparatus. This is when industry, academia, and the military kind of come together in a symbiotic mix that not only celebrates the great achievements of individuals in the United States Army, but also celebrates the greatest tech available in the marketplace. I can't wait to get inside and get to some of these interviews with some of the major players this year of AUSA, so stick with us as we join inside.
So Curtis, I was commissioned out of Norwich University in 1986, and I joined AUSA right when I was commissioned. I have been a member since, and I am a lifetime member. What this organization does is it helps, one, inform soldiers and inform families about what some of the opportunities in the military, specifically the Army, are, not just while you're on active duty, but afterwards. They also act as a lobbying arm to be able to go to Congress to try to get certain things done for the U.S. Army. And I'll tell you, this organization is large, it's tight, and this is the biggest trade show I have ever seen of AUSA. I've come to 16, and there was a very long wait yesterday. Luckily, I got my badge on Sunday. But I'm just telling you, I have spoken with at these conferences. I've been on panels, and I've supported this organization, and I will always support it because they're out to support families and soldiers, and that's what they do, and that's their mission, and love it.
Today is such a wonderful opportunity to come together as a community and collaborate to solve our nation's most critical mission challenges.
Now you know that I cannot walk past a piece of hardware like this and not stop by this booth and find out who makes this and what's going on over here. So we were lucky enough to get with Kinetic and find Steve Iwicki to talk to us a little bit about Kinetic and what they're doing here at AUSA and how they're using this conference to move their interests along forward with the United States military. Hey, Steve.
Curtis, I appreciate the opportunity. So we value our relationship with the Army and AUSA. That's why we come to events like this, and this is a great opportunity for us to meet with a lot of the government seniors and the flag officers that come here and support the event. This particular vehicle here, the Robotic Combat Vehicle Light, is a prototype we developed that's been at the National Training Center. Just completed a major rotation there doing test and evaluation, and this is on its way to becoming a program of record down the road. But Kinetic overall supports ISR systems with sensors and other engineering for custom builds. We also do cyber and information advantage along with autonomous and robotic systems. So it's a great event for us to meet here both with our government customers and with our industry partners that team with us on products like this, because not one company can't do everything you see here, from weapon systems to mine clearing to UAV vehicles.
So when you get a piece of equipment like this, where does it all start? I mean, does somebody just wake up at night and say, hey, I want to make an autonomous vehicle and maybe sell it to the Army one day?
So a lot of it starts with a general requirement that the Army has as we build towards 2040's force.
Okay.
So requirements are laid out and we prototype. We've done the same with ISR sensor systems, where they said we want to be able to collect this type of information, and we engineer and build prototypes. We've done the same with the Army's bomb suit that's back here, is now going to a program of record that developed as an OTA contract for research and development. Now we're going to full rate production on the next generation bomb suit for our Army EOD.
So you guys have to be really on top of the government's purchasing schedule and their strategic initiatives over 5 and 10 and plus year processes just to kind of, I mean, how long is it? I mean, you couldn't have put this together in like a month or two.
No, this typically will start out as a quick reaction capability to a requirement, which was more important during Iraq and Afghanistan. But we continue that mindset now of prototype, build, fail fast, recover, and move on. So sometimes the first generation comes out the way you want. Other times it takes a few more tries to get it where you need to be.
Exactly, and like you said, several companies and entities had a component to do
this, and
with
almost
the final...
every program we do, we have a lot of subcontractors, a lot of small businesses that are components in this. Sometimes we team with large business partners, as we've done in the case of this system, but other systems, it's a lot of small businesses that have niche capabilities and technical capabilities that plug in a component of a sensor suite, things like that as we move forward.
Very, very cool.
So this, so you understand, is the next generation bomb suit. You know what the EOD guys do when they go out and defuse stuff?
Yes.
That's what they're wearing to protect them. This is, there hasn't been a new one in the Army in over 20 years. So
this is like, you know, if you up in this,
you're diffusing bombs and things like that.
Into some dangerous places and feel like we're gonna come up out of here.
Yep, and so we developed this as a prototype system on an OTA contract. So the suit provides better protection, it's lighter, and then we've got new capabilities up in the helmet so that they can see and understand things better. So it offers better protection,
I see
better
that there's a lot of wires, so you're probably like totally connected inside this thing.
The soldier inside the suit is connected, but not to the network, because that's dangerous.
I guess it would be.
You might have an errant signal to set something off. So this base, they operate as a standalone with much better capabilities, much better protection for survivability coming back for another day.
All about keeping our troops alive and bringing them home.
But this is now went from development to a formal program of record contract award that we got just last month, and now we're building these to outfit the Army.
So that's big. So we want to catch that a little bit. So what we're talking about here is this was a prototype, and initially, and they had to kind of build this out to the specifications of the Army, and then give the Army a chance to evaluate that prototype and determine if that's going to become a program of record, if they're going to actually apply funding to that. And so successfully, they were able to get this funded, and now these will be deployed with our troops and give them that much better of an opportunity to make it home from those tough spots.
Absolutely.
Hey, go Kinetic. And now we are in the exhibit hall, and we are at one of the fine booths here for Hewlett Packard Enterprises. And we found Ron Gardner here to talk with us a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit with Vaughn about, you know, what HPE brings to the table and how they work with, you know, the United States Army and other partners that help bring that cutting edge technology to our United States military.
Curtis, thanks very much. Yeah, so Vaughn Gardner with HPE, and coming to AUSA every year is huge for us. It's an opportunity for us to actually sit down with our customers, the DoD writ large, the U.S. Army, but also to sit down with our partners across the board, because nobody here can really bring everything the Army needs individually. So whether it's working with our systems integrators or our software development partners, and us bringing original equipment manufacturer products to the table, this is the perfect environment. It's a melting pot of all of that. And the fact that we are a global company, we actually contribute and work a lot in academia, and we work closely, obviously, with the DoD, selling direct, working with the federal systems integrators and all our partners. So it's not unusual for customers to come in here and to see a product that is an HPE product in our booth, and then to go to 4 or 5 other booths and see the same product running that customer's product on top of our hardware. And that's the beauty of all of this, and AUSA brings it all together.
Right, so that's exactly what we were kind of talking about before, just kind of how the relationships work within environments like this. As he said, you know, they can have hardware that runs software from maybe another one of these vendors that we've been talking to, and vice versa. And, you know, and it's been this way for years. As we were talking, kind of HPE has been a number of companies and represents a lot of different interests across the board over the last few years. But they're a steady giant in the industry.
And we're not your parents' Hewlett Packard. We're Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Because over the course of the years, we have acquired Aruba Networks. We've acquired Silicon Graphics, high performance computing, and most recently, Cray supercomputers, all part of our portfolio. So we do everything, and our stuff right now that we're really hitting on all cylinders with the DoD is all the way from the edge, the tactical edge. We have some platforms that are immensely capable for our customers out at the edge. We can do it all the way back to the data center and then into the hyperscalers' cloud environments. So we can go from the edge to the core to the cloud with our customers, soup to nuts, and nobody else can really do that. So, however, partnering with all the other great folks here, the software developers, all the security folks,
And delivering a turnkey, fully integrated package for our DoD customers is the best of both worlds.
Excellent.
So 26 years United States Air Force, but I deployed many times, retired out of Air Force Special Operations Command. All my deployments were usually under Army leadership, so I can usually walk into an Army event like this and know more people at an Army event than I would at an Air Force event.
But the Army always still thinks that the Air Force is part of the Army, right?
They do. And I don't have any problem with that. All goodness.
Okay, yes, and so, and then upon retirement, you know, being, you know, having that subject matter expertise in that background, naturally, I'm sure you're very attractive to the industry that wants to maybe get into some of those rooms and understand, you know, what your predecessors.
Absolutely. It's really being able to have that knowledge, that experience, to be able to take the technology that you see here on the floor, be able to map that to our DoD customers' requirements and help them solve their biggest challenges and biggest problems. And that's what we do. And my background lends myself to being able to do that. So it's all good. I love what I do.
All right. Well, go Army.
Go Army.
I'm Keith Whiteshaft. I'm representing Moog. We're here with our HE350 Recluse Hybrid Electric Drone. Being here at AUSA is really important for us because the amount of people that come from not just the U.S. military but around the world, it really gives us a lot of incredible exposure that we can share our very excited Group 4 drone. This drone is going to be very unique in that it has a high capacity for logistics support as well as it can do other missions. And we really want to get this word out to show our autonomous operated drone and all the things it can do for the customer.
You know, we were here last year. This is one of the most popular interviews. You all remember Greg Fortier from last year. We were able to catch up with him again. Greg, tell us what SAIC is doing this year. I mean, we know you guys are looking forward 5 years out and 10 years out at what's coming.
Super excited to be here again, like always. We're excited to accelerate Army modernization. We've got cutting edge demonstrations. Right behind us, we've got the counter UAS solution, which is a modular open system approach where we plug and play many different vendors and many different technologies to deliver real-time capability at the speed of relevance.
Now, for vehicles like this, is this still in the prototyping stage, or is this already out?
So this is just a stock government vehicle.
Right.
And then we prototype our kit on there in an integration facility or capacity, so that then we can market that appropriately and develop a solution that meets the government's requirements.
And this goes through down selection processes and all.
So there are many different opportunities for counter UAS, right?
Yes.
Whether it's Department of Homeland Security, whether it's the DoD, whether it's Department of Energy, whether it's internationally. We're always doing a proper environmental scan and canvassing the landscape to deliver that best capability.
Excellent. So, because we always know that SAIC is putting out that hot new tech that's on the marketplace, and it starts with places like this, as he's explaining. And also, as an extra bonus, while we were here today, we were able to locate the famous Miss Rita Brooks, who manages all the small business programs for SAIC. Now, I'm a small business, and so I have been following her for some time, but all of you all out there, you small businesses, you all need to know the people like the readers within these large agencies, because they are the ones that can help SAIC or any other of these companies work with the small businesses and fit in with their strategy. How are you enjoying the conference today, Rita?
This has been a great conference. I've had many wonderful small businesses come up to try to make connections with our BD folks.
Yes.
You don't get a better opportunity than this to talk directly to the people that are decision makers. So this has been a great experience for them and a very rewarding experience for me.
Exactly. I mean, we were always talking about how it takes different groups coming together, the integrators, the government, as well as the academia and whatnot to kind of produce a successful proposal. So I can imagine these small businesses seeing the tech that you all have, would want to partner and maybe help them take down some of those large contracts as well.
And they sometimes don't understand how to talk to the BD groups.
Yes.
But to have somebody to help facilitate that at these events makes all the difference in the world for the small businesses.
Well, if Rita says this is a good conference, because if anybody follows her on LinkedIn, they know that she is at all the conferences. And anytime I'm wondering what should I be doing, and if I'm not doing the right thing, I can always go to her page, because she's somewhere where I'm thinking I should probably be. So if she's saying AUSA is giving a great conference, then good job, AUSA. Solutions, and we are back at Textron Systems. Now, I will say, This was our most popular interview from last year. This has been being posted since sometime in 2022, and everybody kept asking, you know, who were you guys doing this interview with when you guys were doing Textron Systems? Well, I'm back. This is 2023, and we're here with the General.
Dynamic.
General Moog.
How you doing?
And I'm finding out that he got a promotion. So listen,
Curtis.
you know, before he was just up there handing out cards and stuff like that, they done made this man the senior vice president here because, you know, and it's why? Why would they not? You know, the General knows the needs of the United States Army. The General knows the needs of those government organizations. He's been there. And that's part of the story we were telling about why AUSA is so important. It gives an opportunity for folks like the General not only to kind of have a reunion, but get to come with his new company, to demonstrate that the new company has been listening to the needs and the requirements of the government, and how he's been able to use his leadership skills to kind of guide them in that direction. We're so happy to have you again,
So Curtis,
General.
again, really glad to see you again. I'll tell you, everybody, yeah, so back in May, they decided to promote me, and I'm Senior Vice President for Strategy, Sales, and Innovation. I run the Crystal City office. I'm in charge of all events, all marketing, all advertising, all digital content, social media, and sales, and mergers and acquisitions. So I do it all, but I could only do it because of this incredible, incredible team. You know, when I left the Army, somebody asked me, what surprised you the most that first year? And I said, I don't miss the camaraderie. That's how close and tight this company is. I love working for them. We know what our business is, which is we listen to the customer, which is our warfighter. We listen to what they need. We listen to their requirements, and then we provide them a solution that if they have to go to war, if they have to do something with that gives them the best opportunity to fight and win our nation's wars. And we are proud to be part of that. But we are air, land, sea, space, weapons, all of the above.
Space, and weapons, and like this phenomenal machine you see behind us.
The robotic combat vehicle, it's one of ours. We make this up in Maine at our Harron Howe company, and we are so darn proud of it. And we just got down selected for the RCV Light program, which is one of the major programs that the Army is running. So what they want to do is provide this for our future soldiers to be able to be an autonomous robotic light reconnaissance, or in that configuration you have a 30mm cannon with we have 2 javelins that are a part of that turret. So anyway, and we are super excited about this.
So this is a prototype, or is this in production?
This is a prototype that there's a programmer record that is being competed, and we just made one of the big cuts, and so now we're going to make 2 prototypes. We already have several other prototypes that we've been testing, and then we'll give them to the Army next summer, and they will go through full testing. So
Textron Systems, and folks like yourself, in your role as strategic sales and strategy, you guys are watching what the Army is putting out there as far as requirements.
Absolutely.
And you're looking at that years out.
Years out. So we have multiple programs going on right now. On our air side, it's the Future Tactical Unmanned Air System. On our RCV side, this is the robotic combat vehicle. For the Marine Corps, they are looking at replacing the LAV, and we have the ARV, Cottonmouth, that we're competing, and we were down selected for that too. So we are just winning
And
every time.
You see that these initiatives are coming out. And so it's your job to kind of put the smart people in the room together.
Put the smart people.
Come up with these solutions.
After listening
in advance, before they've even bought anything.
Well, exactly. But we have to listen to the customer. Because the customer has to tell us what their requirements are, what is going to be the best solution for that soldier. And what we pride ourselves on, we listen to them. We don't go out on our own to make something. We listen to them and say, okay, then we put our smart people, engineers, that's not me, and they come up with these solutions. So like our XM204 top-down attack, that's going to replace the old legacy mines, and we do everything and anything we're needed.
This particular prototype, you listened to the government, you came up with this, you sent it to the first level of selection, and it made that first down select layer.
It made that based on a digital design. even though we had already made some prototypes. So they haven't really, and the other prototype was a little bit bigger. The Army did buy 4 of those, and then actually 8, and they tested them. They were like, you know what, this is a little too big. Let's look at something else. We submitted a digital prototype for this, which is a smaller version.
Yes.
It's called the M3, and we got down selected. So now they haven't picked the true person that's going to get it, but we're in competition with somebody else. We're both going to deliver 2, and then next summer when we deliver them, they're going to take a whole nother year to test them.
See, now folks, y'all are going to have to like rewind this and listen to that. He gave you all so much game just now, because those are the processes that the government uses to select a piece of tech. And now they brought it here to kind of display, but as he just explained, this is still going through that process of being the final selected piece of equipment that the Army may choose to use as this autonomous vehicles out there in the field in the hands of soldiers, bringing more soldiers back alive, because we can do more things with machines like this.
Absolutely, because something like this does not put the soldier at risk, because this is out there, it's unmanned, and it's doing, whether it's security, a breaching operation, or some type of reconnaissance for your forces. But there's not a soldier in it. The soldier is sitting back 3-4 kilometers and is doing it remote control.
Wow. Well, thanks so much,
Curtis. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. This is the kind of camaraderie and family.
I'll tell you what.
This is he make me say who.
I'll tell you.
And we're here at the Airbus booth, and we found David to talk with us a little bit about what Airbus does and what they get out of coming to AUSA every year. David, how you guys doing here today?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, good. So, I see you guys do a lot of different things over here, a lot of different displays and whatnot. Yes. Tell us, where does Airbus kind of focus on in the industry, and what are you all trying to sell to the Army?
Well, for industry, there's a lot of other things, kind of compartmented in some areas.
Yes.
Like for us specifically, we're a proxy company of Airbus US and Airbus France, because everything we sell has to be built, procured, and produced in the US in order to sell back to the Department of Defense and our international partners. So that's where we come in as a proxy with an all US board of directors for
the component
section. And we're about 71 deep in Airbus Defense and Space Government Solutions is where we're
wonderful.
at. But then, everyone knows Airbus as main platform airframes, and then the Lakota helicopters. They also are doing those as the test center at Fort Rucker. They have those.
Okay.
Zephyr's a new project they're working on. They do satellite actual technology in space. So there's a lot of different facets.
A lot of different
areas.
facets. I'm sure you work with a lot of other companies that might be here.
Yes.
Promoting today and working in those partnerships. What did you do before you came to Airbus?
I was in the Army for about 29 years.
Oh, wow.
A lot of communications the entire time, pretty much.
Okay.
About 22 years of that in special ops, and then DISA headquarters, and then I retired out of the Army Research Laboratory.
Oh, Army Research Lab. So I'm sure that gives you some insight into kind of helping to understand what the requirements may be looking like as they come through, and you are obviously trying to help posture Airbus to be competitive.
Yeah, definitely where emerging and future technologies come from. Being at the lab really helped to kind of come in and try to help mold where we go with communications, because you see the new technologies that are going to come out probably 10 to 15 years, maybe 20 years down the road, where it comes from, because at the lab it's more of a TRL-1 type innovative thought process, and then you start turning it into different research levels.
So are y'all engaged in a lot of like prototyping and things of that sort in order to get things to be a program of record?
Yes. So we do prototyping. The 1.8 meter dish over here is one of our prototypes for the mid-Earth orbit.
Yes.
Because people talk about LEO, MEO, and GEO.
Yeah.
And currently we were in the GEO space, and now that we're doing prototyping for our MEO products as well, which we should roll out our first in probably January of this coming year, as far as actually MEO capable and tested.
Okay, that's one of the things we've kind of seen today. We never really focused on how much money that a lot of these companies spend on research and development. Before they make a dime, they are often prototyping and putting their products through various down select processes with the government just to be eligible to solicit the government with those products and services. And so, as he said, they have some dishes here and some other things. What's looking like for the next 10 to 20 years from you guys' side? Is that something you guys have to kind of look at?
Well, yeah. Like I said, the program we just won with STS.
Okay.
That's a 13-year program. And a lot of these programs with the Army, which is good for the Army too, being a former soldier, that you don't get stuck with something. So a lot of the programs, they do 2-year reviews.
Okay.
And they just want to make sure that, you know, we are keeping relevant with changing technology and make sure we're doing everything we need to do to keep them as a customer. So that makes us better and it gives the Army a better product for them.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we'll continue. Guys, Airbus, check them out. So another element of AUSA is their outreach to the small businesses that are coming to try and do business with the Army and the other government agencies. You know, they do a great job at highlighting the different designations of small business that are here looking for opportunities. You know, we have sessions for veteran-owned businesses, sessions for hubs-owned businesses, sessions for 8A program and women-owned businesses. All of these businesses bring a unique socioeconomic category to the opportunity to do business with the Army. And so special set-asides are set up by the Army every year, whether they say we want to give 5% of the business to veterans and 3% of the business to women-owned businesses and 6% of the business to the 8A program, 8% of the business to the hub zone programs. Small businesses getting the appropriate designation for your business so that you can go to the Army or the government and have a little bit better chance of competing against the big boys with your designation is definitely the way to go. And in sessions like this, they talk about ways to get your company registered appropriately with the Army so that you have a chance to take advantage of all of these exceptional opportunities for small businesses. I have benefited from the small business programs. I, as a small business owner, we've participated in SBIR program, and as well as gotten some of those socio-economic designations that you all kind of help partner us with and do things. Tell me about some of the programs that you guys have here at AUSA to help small businesses.
Great, yes, I'm very happy to tell the audience out there about our small business seminar. This is the 11th year that we've hosted the small business seminar in conjunction with AUSA. What we do is 1 day's worth of seminar activity where we have guests, panelists, individual speakers come in and talk to our small businesses about topics of relevance to them. So whether it be how to get cybersecurity certification, tips and tricks on working with the Department of Defense. Because, you know, we want to share that technology across the department. We want to leverage what our folks over in the Air Force and the Navy, what they're investing in for our Army projects, and we want to share with them as well. So we want to bring all of these partners and stakeholders together to talk specifically to small businesses about how they can work with us. The second day, we do matchmaking. So you might say, what is matchmaking?
Right.
Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's speed dating for companies.
Yes.
Where we bring companies in to talk to federal government agencies, including the Army and our other DoD services, as well as large business primes.
Yes.
And it's a company's opportunity to give a quick 10-minute introduction to what their capabilities are. We always tell them, tell that person on the other end what differentiates your company and what problem you're going to solve for us. And that can lead to future contract opportunities. So that's a crazy, busy, fast-paced day, but it's a lot of fun.
I can definitely speak to that matchmaking. You know, to get to some of these offices, some of these people may have offices in the Pentagon or on bases and places that you may not just easily be able to just go. So it's very important for some of those kind of folks to take advantage of opportunities here at AUSA to get in front of these customers that might be behind a few gatekeepers if you're just trying to knock doors out there on the street. Thanks so much for talking to us today,
thank
Kimberly.
you. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We were lucky enough to find Mrs. Gaina Malcolm Packnett.
So the Army Office of Small Business Programs, we have a plethora of programs to assist small businesses in how to do work with the federal government. If you go to our website, osbp.army.mil, not only will you find tabs that go through just a multitude of information, it lists all of the Army's buying commands. It lists the point of contacts for those small business offices where small businesses wanting to do business with the federal government, once they figure out the key question, who's buying what you're selling,
Right.
they can contact those small business offices and ask to do a capability statement, so they can, go in and talk to those small business offices and make those small business offices aware that they're out there, and that they want to sell with the Army.
Great.
They also list, also you can find on the site the acquisition plan for future. So that's out there.
Now we
when
talked
is
about
something
that
coming
in
open?
the
Absolutely.
exhibit hall, how those folks that spend all that money on those booths, they also have to keep their eye on the budgets and the spending plans
Absolutely.
of the government, so that they know how to position their wares in the spending cycle of what the government's going to buy.
Absolutely.
So small businesses have to do that too.
Absolutely. And we have other programs that are within the small business office. One of them is called the Army Mentor Protege Program.
What?
And this program is designed where a large business will mentor a small business to help them develop their infrastructure or do their technology transfer. So it's really an exciting program. It's now a permanent program, a 3-year permanent program. It was made permanent this last year by Congress. So it's an amazing program.
Now, is there a funding incentive to either the mentor or the protege from the government for those
protege
programs?
can elect to either have a credit agreement, which they would get small business credit for the agreement, or they could do reimbursable. They can have costs reimbursed. Absolutely.
Interesting. So see, with
Absolutely.
small businesses, you're always dealing with all kinds of funding and cash flow issues as you attempt to go about taking down some of these contracts or subcontracts. So these are some of those programs. And I also understand you have something here with the SBIR.
We do. It's our SBIR and STTR program. It's another program where topics are developed by our program offices that fill Army gaps.
That's right.
And what they do is they'll put the topics out, and the first 30 days, anybody can contact them and they'll ask any question that you want. And then you submit, and the program consists of 3 phases. And the first phase, it's just a
White paper, I think.
it is a white paper, but phase 1 is more of a feasibility phase to see if your product is really going to work.
Yes.
And then the phase 2 is a prototype. You develop
Okay,
your prototype,
yes,
and then your phase 3 is commercialization.
That's right.
So
that's right.
pre-commercialized.
And so these are also a couple of the programs. See, typically when you go do business with the Army or any other government agency, they need past performance and you to be on government vehicles, and there's a number of reasons why you will get kind of kicked out of the room with your customer. And so you may have to leverage programs like this that can often be ways you can kind of diagonally move through the process without having 10 years of solid past performance, particularly if you're rolling out brand new technology.
Absolutely. The Army, DOD also have some programs to assist small businesses with the new requirement that's coming up for the CMMC certification.
Yes.
DOD offers that training free to all small businesses. So, don't go out there paying somebody lots of money when the program is already there
Exactly.
at DOD. Another program they have is their FOCI program, where they're teaching small business about foreign investments and letting them know what to look for. There's training out there for that. So we're just trying to help out.
Well, if there's anything we've learned coming down to this section, that is, if you're a small business, you need to be talking to the small business office in those agencies that you're pursuing opportunities in. You need to be talking to a Mrs. Gaynor in that office. And if you're not, you might be trying to swim upstream. Thanks so much for talking with us
Thank
today.
you.
And I'm telling you, if you come into the convention center, there's no way you can miss probably one of the most, prime placed displays in the conference center, Bell. And the first thing you're going to see are like a ridiculous crafts. I mean, every time I come, they have a different name they always educate me on. Last year, I learned about what a tilt rotor was, and maybe we'll get a chance to see one. But we got a chance to catch up with Mike Simmons here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what Bell is doing here at AUSA and what it means to kind of Bell and how you all fit into the mix here.
So Curtis, first and foremost, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you coming in, and thanks for those great plugs on some of our great products. But so, to your point, the first point is AUSA, Association United States Army, is just an incredible location for us to come and really connect with what we would call our customer.
Yes.
And make sure that our customer understands what our capabilities are, what we bring to bear for the United States Army, and this particular venue gives us the capability to do that. So not only can we bring our different aircraft and our different products, but probably more importantly, we bring together a variety of individuals from different organizations with different expertise, and we're able to have great conversations, exchange information, learn about each other's products, talk to each other, find out what's important to our customer, what's important to the United States Army. This venue gives us that opportunity to do that.
I can imagine, you know, one of these crafts when it's all set up and rolling out to the government. You probably work for several companies in this room by the time.
Absolutely, yeah. So the two aircraft that are on display today, the B360 Invictus, the V280 Valor, it's really, they're representative. They have Bell on the aircraft in terms of their signature or their name, but at the end of the day, there are teams. There are large teams, Team Invictus, Team Valor. So to your point and to your question, those represent a whole host of companies. We just happen to be the prime vendor that's ultimately responsible for the production of those aircraft.
Wow. And these are some incredible aircraft. You think we get a chance to look inside some?
Yeah, let's walk over and we'll put you in the Bell 360 and we'll walk you through.
Excellent.
All right. So welcome to the Bell B360. I'll go ahead and have you sit in the back.
Okay.
This door slides out. You just kind of route around. Now in the actual aircraft, it will not have a door like that. It will just have this. This means by which you would get into the airframe.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So again, this is the Bell 360 Invictus. This is a future attack reconnaissance aircraft. It's basically an armed scout helicopter. It's envisioned to be employed in 6 to 7 years, give or take, but the Army is now, it's a competition. The Army's looking at 2 competitors for this particular aircraft. What it's designed to do is go out and fight for information, provide information to a commander to be able to then to fight that battle the way he or she sees fit. So it'll fly and fight for information, and it can also go out and actually engage targets with its own onboard weapon systems, as well as bringing in weapon systems and capabilities from other platforms that are not connected to the aircraft.
So this is in a stage now where it's still kind of in research and development, where you guys.
So I would say well beyond R&D. We are already into manufacture. We have an aircraft. It's built. It's in Texas. It's about 96% ready to go.
And all that's investment by Bell so far. You haven't even got a chance to get paid yet.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. There's been some contractual arrangements between us and the government with the Department of the Army. There's been some shared costs with that. So it's not completely Bell. It's been a shared approach. But again, the aircraft's in Texas. We are just about to get the engine in our hands. We're waiting for the engine. Once we have the engine will be mated to the aircraft. We'll go through some ground runs, and then that will evolve into some flight tests. And you'll start seeing probably in the next 9 to 12 months, you'll start seeing press releases and information flowing out on how those flight tests are going.
Now this guy,
very exciting.
Oh my goodness, when you guys get a chance, I mean, I know they're going to pan around inside here. This is like a PlayStation, Xbox all together, and add in, you know, next generation computing. I mean, I can only imagine the type of software.
So the beauty of this airframe is it's 21st century technology. It is the latest and the greatest that industry has to offer. So from an air vehicle perspective, it's built for speed, it's built for range, it's built for a specific payload, the ability to get to an area, remain there for a considerable amount of time. And then the weapon systems and the avionics and the mission equipment package, all optimized and tailored for a cavalry or a scouting mission.
So I'm looking at several dashboards here, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, multiple display systems. It's all clearly, intuitively set up. Guys,
yep.
I feel very comfortable about what we're sending our boys into the action with.
And girls.
And girls.
That's right. That's right.
In action with. It's 2023.
Yeah.
Boys and girls in action. We are finally at the booth that I wanted to get to this whole time. The thing about it is, when you come into the convention center, the first booth you'll see, and it is magnificent, is General Dynamics. And they have, like, at least as soon as you get in here, 3 or 4 superior land craft that, you know, you have to kind of get with some of these guys to kind of figure out what this does, but you know it's like next level, and you know this is the stuff that's keeping our Army the #1 fighting force on the planet. So as we were running around, we were able to catch up with Scott Taylor, no relation, but, you know, Scott brings with him a wealth of background and understanding some of how these things work, because as I understand it, thank you for your service, you priorly served.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I sure did. I spent 30 years in the U.S. Army as a tanker, and so retired last year after those 30 years and got a great home here with General Dynamics Land Systems. And so I'm excited to continue providing back to the country and helping the next generation of tankers get the right equipment.
I can imagine you would bring a breadth of experience to an organization that wants to make tanks and land vehicles that you probably have seen in action.
Yes, sir.
In the real thing.
I sure have. I sure have. And what's more is I have a deep passion as a soldier for life.
Yes.
Member of AUSA for these 30 years to make sure that the future equipment that we have in the hands of our soldiers will protect their lives just like it protected me these last 3 decades.
So you've been in AUSA before you kind of came to the General Dynamics family.
I absolutely have. Matter of fact, you know, it took me about 20 years to get to my first AUSA.
Okay.
The junior soldiers don't get to go to AUSA necessarily.
Right.
And they're spread all over the planet. Let's just say there are other parts of the planet that we had to be on. But I did get to it, I think my first one at my 20th year in service, and then went to several more over those last 10 years in uniform. And now I get to be part of it on the other side.
Right, so you get to enjoy that camaraderie and that reunion aspect of it that we get to enjoy every year.
Absolutely.
Some of the social things that we get to do. And
it's like an old home week for me. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So General Dynamics is here at AUSA. You've got a fine footprint here. Tell us about some of the equipment that you guys have brought here to kind of show the public and the Army that have you guys ready to really take it to the next level.
You bet, Curtis. What I would tell you is that as a soldier for life, I have a deep, abiding commitment and desire to make sure that this company continues to provide the best in class for weaponry and protection for our soldiers on the battlefield. I will tell you that the Abrams tank saved my life several times in Baghdad, and so the ability, the honor to be able to be part of this company and make sure we're doing that for the next generation is something that means a lot to me. I, in fact, have a niece who is a tanker at Fort Moore, Georgia right now. I've got a brother out at Fort Irwin still serving as a tanker as well. And so this is a neat opportunity that we get to do this. What you see behind you right here is the M10 Booker. In previous years, it was named the Mobile Protected Firepower as a program, but the U.S. Army took the opportunity to name it for 2 great soldiers in our history, in our lineage. One is Staff Sergeant Booker, who served in Desert Storm and was part of the 1st of the 64th Armored Regiment. Actually, my first unit as a 2nd lieutenant many years ago. But that fine soldier sacrificed his life in the fight to Baghdad in the Thunder Run back in OIF, excuse me. And so that soldier received the Distinguished Service Cross, and he is one of 2 soldiers for which this vehicle is named in honor of. The other soldier is a Private Booker, who served in World War II, and also basically gave his life in the defense of this great country and received the Congressional Medal of Honor for his heraldry as well as valor on the battlefield.
Excellent, excellent.
And so
how many soldiers fit? Does it take to operate a huge piece of equipment like
this? You bet. So the U.S. Army divested the M551 Sheridan, which is the light armored infantry support vehicle in the late 90s. And the U.S. Army never brought that capability back at that time. Wasn't sure that they needed it, but in recent years, the Army decided they needed that capability back to support our infantry divisions. And what you see behind you is that 42-ton tank that is capable of fitting 2 on a C-17 to go into the combat zone. And it takes 4 soldiers, 19-kilo tankers like I was, able to fight this combat vehicle on the battlefield. And it brings next-generation capability with high firepower, survivability on the platform comparable to the Abrams, and then 360 situational awareness around that vehicle to provide unparalleled capability for our warfighter.
Right, and are these already deployed in the field, or is it in some developmental stage, or how do you all
good question, Curtis.
From that?
Basically, we are under a low rate initial production right now. We have received a contract from the U.S. government to build the first 96 of these, with 2 awards so far. Towards that end, and we expect to do testing next summer with the Army, because we want to make sure we're training with the soldiers, get the best feedback back on those systems, make sure we get it just right. And so there'll be some initial operating tests next summer, and then we'll do the first unit equipped in 25.
Wow. And how long would you say, how many years when something like this go through the, the apparatus before you can, from the idea, the white paper to say, you said, hey, look, they're doing away with the other tank in the 90s, and we know there's going to be something next coming. Did you really kind of start then?
Well, Curtis, that's the fascinating part of this. Our national leadership, our government, Congress decided under NDA 2016 that we needed to create a faster way to build material, sophisticated weapon systems that support our soldiers on the battlefield. And so it's something called the OTA process, a better way to deliver a capability in 5 years. This is the first of those sophisticated weapon systems delivered in a 5-year period from idea to in the hands of troops, and that's what's fascinating about this. General Dynamics Land Systems is proud to be part of that, bringing that capability to our infantrymen on the battlefield.
Go General Dynamics Systems. 5 years, guys. Soup to nuts.
Absolutely.
So what else do you guys have over here?
So behind you, what we see is 2 other systems that we brought to the show. Bottom line on the far side there, that is our tracked robot 10-ton. It has a SHORAD payload, short-range air defense. And so fielded in the Army right now is a Stryker vehicle with those twin-pod Stingers and 30mm cannon, capable of bringing air defense protection to the tactical formation. And so we fielded 1 battalion of that in Europe. Another battalion is being fielded at Fort Sill, Oklahoma right now. But what we brought to the show is an innovative idea of a robotic short-range air defense capability. So imagine that it is hard to get on the battlefield a 31-ton vehicle using an aircraft rapidly, but this vehicle, you can fit this in the back of a C-130. And so we've demonstrated that you can have a robot that can provide that kind of protection to a light infantry formation.
Oh, wow. So that's an autonomous vehicle.
It is an autonomous vehicle. Yep.
Oh, wow. Saving lives.
Teleoperations. Yes, sir.
Excellent.
And we're very proud to have received this morning that as the best in show for a innovation capability. So AUSA recognized General Dynamics Land Systems because of the T-Rex with SHORAD as the best in show. And so we're proud of that accomplishment.
Well, that's why we had to come here and check you guys out.
Amen.
Hey,
absolutely.
Thanks so much, Scott.
You bet.
49 miles now, speed 450, Angels 9. I'm going down to 3. Roger that, over. Roger. Roger that, 30-degree offset now. Bogey's heading 340 speed, 500, let's accelerate.
Okay, they look like they're at the 9,000 feet now.
Roger, bogeys have jinked back into us now. Let's come starboard 30 degrees the other side. Coming starboard.